Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the tangle Scallamp from CZT Sarah Uram. And I hope I pronounced that right, Sarah. All right, this is a neat tangle. Starts off with a straight line. Well, with a pen that's working. All right, now I suppose it doesn't have to be a straight line. It could be whatever your line is. But this will be our median, or like our middle point. All right, then, and I'm just like I said, I'm just doing this on here. You can just continue this squiggly line is what we're going to do. So I'm going to start it so that way you have the big part kind of in the middle. But so you know, kind of come close to that middle line. Wow, I went out quite a ways. All right, and then so we're not touching that line. We're just kind of coming close. All right, and then this could continue whatever size project you're working on. You would just continue this pattern throughout. Okay, then. And I like that Sarah does this. I like to do the same thing, and I'm sure we both got a lot of that from when we went to CZT training. Start in the middle and work your way out. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to essentially aura sort of the curve line and start in the middle. And there's of course, no right, no wrong. So just kind of close, like so. And we'll do that on the other side too. Okay. Then, actually, well, it's still kind of the same thing. We're start in the middle and work out to both sides. I also like to do it where I'm subdividing sort of, so that way it's just like then it's even-ish, or I have a better chance of having things be even. If I do it this way. So just coming down the middle of these two sections that we just created. And if things get tight and touch down here, of course that's quite all right. And then we're going to do the other side. What's nice about this is nothing has to be perfect at all. And I know, because I have friends that if the hand is shaky, don't worry about it. It's going to be just fine. All right, so then you end up with this shape. Now I'm going to dare say if you ended up making it wider, you could put more sections in. This fits just about nicely. So then the next thing we're going to do is, I don't know if there's a name for this technique. I know we use it in the Tangle Perk and Aquafleur. Those are tangles, and if you're not familiar with them, I think I have both of them in videos. But the next step, actually, I'm going to start with where it narrows here. In this one, and because my little narrow section is not real thick, I'm just going to put 2. And so what I'm doing is it's almost like drawing, well, you could consider it 2 ways. One is a C shape, like so. It would be a backwards C shape. Or a very ovally orb using the Hollabaugh technique, which would be going behind. So like I'm starting here, I'm crossing, of course, I'm crossing over lines, which usually we like to go under. But in this case, we're going over. So, you could think of it either one, whichever works for you. And I like to share multiple ways of thinking about things because we all don't think the same. And, if something grabs one person and doesn't grab another and vice versa, then that's why I like to share multiple things. All right. And then I'm going to do another one of these kind of right underneath it. To me, it looks very, what do they call it? Mid-century. very, very 50s spacey, type of thing. That's what that makes me think of. It makes me think of the Jetsons, and like, because it seems like on some of the clothes or on this or that, they'd have that kind of a figure, maybe a little bit filled in, which we're going to do that in a moment. So we're going to do both of these. All right, and then this one is more like Perk, where we're going. Actually, no, this is like Xander. So if you've done the Tangle Xander, we do something like this. Now, granted, mine, every time I do it, and I don't know why, I make this hook part go far away from the original line, and I don't know why. When I see them done, and then I try to make them go a little closer, and that's okay. It's just, you just don't make that so big. And I've done it on occasion, but it seems like my default is to do it this way, and it's still okay. All right, now in this bigger section, we're going to have it slope down a little bit, and this is more like Perk. Let's see if I can make it a little bit. Well, I should be consistent. So I'm gonna, and this is kind of like an S shape. So the hook is this one going towards the left as I'm drawing it, then swooping down, and then I'm curving it the other way, so to the right. And then similar to this, we're going to do the same thing. And you decide how far apart you want that. And like that. And then we'll do another one. What I like about, sometimes it's like, whoa, that went a little bit too far. So I could always pop one up here. Or I can, I think this will be fine. I'm going to do this one below. Like so. And then, let's see. And because this is a continuation here, let's see, I'll just get one started. And then here will be one that will be finishing. Just to see that continuousness. Then the last step is we can fill this in. Now here's one way that I have done this, is to kind of draw a line in between the two curves. Maybe I'll start here. And then I start filling in from there. And when you do this second little hook or curved line, it doesn't matter where it's at. What you end up getting is that bottom part of the curve. So when you're filling it in, you just don't see it anymore, and then it looks like that is swung around. Let me come up here, and you know what? Let me. I wasn't thinking, because I've been filling these in just with the. Let me go to a pen that's not as thick as the one, but it also just happens to be handy. Although I think this one is petering out a little bit. And then I can still kind of draw that line. Yeah. Now, I'm going to add this. I don't know that you even have to fill this in. You can have fun with this. The idea of filling it in is, of course, then you're covering over the black lines that are underneath. So if you're going to do this and you're thinking, oh yeah, and I'll color that in, because I've had this thought kind of as a second thought, oh, but I'll do it in X whatever color. Well, depending on what you use, it might be successful or not, or you might have a bunch of lines then underneath it. Actually, I said this one, I got a little, I'm going to bring this down a little bit. There we go. Okay, because that was not lining up right. I'll tell you what, when you have when these pens start kind of running out of juice, it's interesting how they just don't seem to, I don't know, move as well. You can really tell. And then, of course, as you're filling in, if yours like mine here got a little bit too thin in one area and you want to thicken it up, and I'm just going to leave some gaps here, this is the perfect time to do that. this, I don't know, there's something about this tangle I just think is so neat. I don't know. Could be mostly because I'm like, wow, look at how cool that looks afterwards, and then the the non-artist in me just says, I did that. Look at look at how cool that is. So there we go. Now make sure to check the description section, and we're going to add some shading here if you want to. But make sure to check the description section so you can see some of Sarah's examples, because it might give you some other ideas. I know on hers she has some where she did 2 there, and this kind of different, little bit different shape of with these ribbons, and I'm gonna just feel like that needs to be a little bit something right there. Okay. Now, if you want to add shading, here's 2 ways. First, let's just put some underneath these ribbons. I was just thinking I should have, the other way, I should have probably done that first, but that's okay. And then we're going to spread it out just a little bit with the tortillon, just to get a little gradient and soften it up a little bit. Let's see. Oh, that looks really neat as I'm looking in the camera. It just, all of a sudden, it does cast that shadow, and just doing it on the one side, that's what really sells it, if you will. Now, if you want to also, we're going to put some on the sides. So that way we'll make this look a little bit more rounded. Now, if you're using a toned paper, or even if if you end up doing this on black, working on a black tile with, say, the white pen is a little bit different. A lot of times I will, I'll put the highlights with, you use either soapstone or, chalk pencil or white charcoal pencil. And sometimes I'll do the same thing, but that I would do with graphite with the white, and it still looks really neat. But if you're using a toned paper, then you could also add a little highlight in the middle, say, to just accentuate even more so the roundness, if you're trying to achieve that. And one thing, when you have all of these lines, one thing I've noticed is if I'm trying to make a gradient, go over, don't just take it to whatever line. And it was just happening just by chance. So when I saw that, it's like, well, now I'm going to bring it over into the middle, of the next line, so just over it a little bit. And I do that because I noticed that if I don't do that, then it just looks like this is colored in gray, and it doesn't add to the rounding at all because it stops at that line. I've done that with some other things. And then if you want to also, we could put a little bit of extra gray coming up and out of those, just to accentuate it. And of course, depending on your style, if you go darker, it's of course more dramatic. And let's just see, let's put that under here. Let's go more dramatic this way. And sometimes I like to go lighter on the graphite at first, and then you can always add more. And we don't put erasers in our Zentangle kits. I strive to, even though, of course you can. But for me, I guess I call myself, because I think other people have called me this. And so then I adopted it, and I like it. I'm more of a purist. Oh, but see, look at how more dramatic that looks. It really stands out more. How neat. And just playing with it. And, it's like, even though I know you certainly could go grab an eraser, I like to just stick to that, no, I'm going to do with what I have, and I'm going to, it's, not about erasing, and then just keep playing with it. And, if you don't like it, save the tile, and look for when I do my next class on transcending, and just save it for for another use. So that's fun. Now also, if you want, you could add color. And so I was playing with this and decided, well, yeah, let's see what it looks like with color. Now here I put I'll call it a natural shine. So I just separated here as I was drawing. You could go back afterwards if you've colored it all in, and you can use white whatever, colored pencil, gel pen, fill in the blank, and add that afterwards if you like. But I did that, and then I thought, well, we'll just see how it looks. I can always color over it if I didn't like it. Ooh, the one thing I didn't do on this, I added, as you can see, actually I use this Fabrico marker, and because this has it has a thin tip and then a more of a brush point, and I added it underneath each of these bands going across and around, and then on top I added the white charcoal. But I did not, and I was thinking about it, I'm going to add this to the outside. And sometimes it's nice to use a marker. I hesitate using them sometimes because I like to have that gradient. And a marker, unless you have those sets and you use 100 markers to achieve it. I like to go simple. Look at that looks very interesting then now. But you can go back with the marker and darken it. So what I could do is I could go back if I wanted to, and then, but I'm going to wait and let it dry a little bit, and then you can always add with the fine tip on the edge, and see how that looks. But that I think did enough. Wow, really cool. So anyway, how fun is that tangle? It just, I don't know. I like it. I hope you like it. And if you did, would love to have the like, share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. That means a lot to me when to have subscriptions. And also in the description section under the step outs, ways to connect with me if you would like. If you like to do give an online class a try, every week I take a tangle or two and we just explore it and we have fun. It's not a project type of class. Everybody just kind of gets to do whatever they want to do with it. It's more about the tangle and what you want to do with it, and then we talk through it and have fun, and then we share what everybody did at the end, and it's really a good time. Actually, if you go to my website and then click on, I think it's the blog page or something, and you can see some of the blog posts that I put after the fact, kind of a recap of the class, and so yeah, that way you can see, and some of them even have a replay that's posted on the YouTube channel here, so you can experience it and see if you want to attend live. So with that, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I wish you happy tangling.